So crazy that he's dead.
But did he die?
Yeah. I'm putting the link to the live stream in the chat.
Okay.
Shout out to all the Soprano fans out there. Mark, we're live. It's your show. You're a stud on YouTube. How did you do it?
Well, I did it with a lot of hard work and consistency. No, yeah, I mean, we can talk about that. It's actually a very interesting story in a sense. I've been involved with the internet for since the beginning. So I started investing in real estate when I was 18 years old, 1995. I started buying bank-owned repos from the zero down. I had no money. I was just out of high school. So I started investing pretty early. That was like 95, 97, 98, 99 came around, and which was the internet boom took off. And next thing you know, I'm buying these internet stocks. My roommate had quit his job and he's day trading these internet stocks, and nobody knew what the heck that was. And in 2001, I decided I wanted to sell products online, start an e-commerce store, which sounds simple, but back then it wasn't. And so I've been doing this a really long time. So I've been involved on the internet for a long time. However, I loved the internet for kind of the ability to stay anonymous, to stay hidden. I value, in my core values, freedom is one of my main core values. And so I love just kind of being unknown. And so I did a lot of lead gen, a lot of marketing, a lot of things like that. And I never wanted to be known. I never wanted to have a face or a name out there. And, I understand the internet marketing game, which is really about building an audience, building a list. And I spent decades doing it, but I never built that up because I was in one product to the next, to the next, to the next. And a couple of years ago, I was writing a newsletter, a cryptocurrency research newsletter. And
when was this?
This was like 2016. I started in 2015, 16, 17. And I was advertising. I was running ads on Facebook and stuff like that. And at the end of 2017, they banned all advertising for cryptocurrency stuff. So Facebook, Google, Twitter, no advertising. And so, shoot, I had this like business that was doing really well, but all of a sudden I couldn't advertise. I couldn't market it. And so my partner at the time created a YouTube channel, and he started doing these YouTube videos, and he was doing it, and it drove a ton of business for us. It worked out really, really well. And he's like, hey, you got to come on and do some videos with me. I'm like, no, I don't want to do videos. I don't want to, do it. And he's like, you have to do it with me. So I did like a live stream with him. And it was kind of fun, and people kind of liked it. So I did another live stream, and then he's like, hey, just start doing your own videos. So I started doing my own videos, but on his channel. It was our company channel. And then he wasn't too happy about that. He's like, hey, you need to get off my channel now. You need to start your own channel. I'm like, I don't want my own channel. I was doing this for the business. And so it kind of became this like sticking point. Long story short, he kind of forced me to start my own channel, which I didn't want to. I started making channels on videos on a regular basis. I was able to grab some of the audience that we had built on his channel, bring it over to my channel. So I had a little bit of a bump. I say that I kind of got tricked into it, kind of got forced into a YouTube channel. But then I really started to enjoy it. I really started to like it. And it just started growing and growing and growing. And I really put a lot, I think it really comes down to the content that I'm putting out there. So my viewpoint is, and really I stole this from Porter Stansberry from Stansberry Research. And he would always tell me, he would always write this newsletter, and he'd say, I'm probably going to lose subscribers over this, but I'm going to tell you what I would want to know if I was on the other side of the table. And so that every time I do a video, I tell you what I would want to hear if I was on the other side of the screen. And so really every video that I put out is trying to deliver maximum value. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't want anybody to leave thinking that they didn't get their money's worth or their time's worth. And I answered every single comment, and I built a relationship with everybody. And I think that's probably what helped it really kind of achieve success so fast.
I think it's interesting because, Steve Aoki, the DJ?
Yeah.
He lives about 4 miles that way from my house.
Okay.
And I had a chance to talk to him one time, and it's amazing that you talked about answering questions and stuff from all your subscribers and stuff. He has an amazing following, like probably one of the most impressive, hardest working human beings ever. And he talked about how he literally, in the early days, made it his commitment to engage with fans on almost every social platform. That was him, not an admin, responding
Yeah.
and getting into it. And he really made an impact on me when he said that, because I thought to myself, here's a guy that's super successful, probably top of his game in the DJ business. And he's involved in other businesses also. But he literally made it his mission to connect with his fans as he grew up, because there came a point where he physically couldn't do it. But he that was his success, and that's sounding like what your success was helped by also.
Yeah, and I think it's an overall attitude. So, I can't speak for him, but it sounds like the same. But for me, I put out videos. I had some really rough times in my investing career, and I wanted to help people avoid those same mistakes, which is why I said, like, I tell you what I'd want to hear, what I wish I would have heard.
Ripple at $3, right?
Yeah, no, we sold Ripple at 325. Bought it 17, sold 325. I'd never buy it again. But no, back in 2008 in the great financial crash, my real estate empire got wiped out. But so it really comes from a place of service. I really want to help other people not make the same mistake. And so because of that, because my whole goal is to help other people, then I want to engage with them. And so, yeah, just like Steve Aoki, I literally replied to every single comment that I got. Nowadays, I'm not able to really keep up with it as much, because when I was getting 100 or 200 comments, it was easy. Now it's 1,000 or 2,000 comments. But I do my best still, at least for the first couple of days. And so, yeah, I think people enjoyed it. It worked out.
So what are some of the things that you talk about on your YouTube channel? I see finance and investing as a big part of it. What are some of the other things that you enjoy talking about most?
Yeah, really, I say that, kind of the intro in my video is that I believe that the only success in life is learning how to figure out things on our own. No one's coming to save you. If you want to learn how to make money, grow money, and protect money, then it's you need to learn how to make money, grow money, and protect money, because that's what gives you options and security in life. Like I said, no one's coming to save you. And if you like those topics, then watch the channel. So really it's about making and growing and protecting money. And so mostly around finance. So really it really is centered around the need for going back to a hard sound money, gold, Bitcoin. I talk about gold and Bitcoin. I talk about the problems with the financial system that we have today. I talk about the Federal Reserve, runaway printing of money, a little bit about markets and economy. But those are kind of the main topics.
Cool. Have you ever had a chance to either talk with Peter Schiff or have him on your show?
I have not, but I want to. He was a big instrumental piece for me getting into the gold space, a dozen years ago, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I met him at the SALT conference. Had a chance to talk to him here. The SALT conference that's run by Anthony Scaramucci. Okay. And Pete's a good guy. He's I think he laughs when he engages with people in the crypto space. He likes crypto. And his son now is involved in crypto and accumulating some Bitcoin. And I think that from a distance, he enjoys the attention he gets from crypto.
For sure.
And he's right about gold, and his economic outlook and economic philosophies are spot on. He's definitely a great listen. His recent Joe Rogan talk was really good. 3 hours. Granted, the connection thing made him sound like a rambling idiot at times because he kept talking over Joe, but that was just because he was on Skype, and poor Peter. He
is the broken clock that's eventually going to be right. He's been talking about the crash of the financial system for a dozen years now. And he's right. Timing it is the hard part. So, I love what he has to say. I agree with what he has to say. The timing part he hasn't gotten right, but he'll eventually be proven right. I think as far as Bitcoin, I think he's so entrenched in his position, and he loves the attention that he gets from it, like you said, that he really plays that up. The reality is, look, our goal is not to pick the one single asset and only that. No, Our goal is to build a portfolio that's going to outperform the market. And so I own gold and I own Bitcoin. Like, you don't have to just pick one. And so I get those comments all the time on my channel. If I do a video on gold, I'll never buy gold, only buy Bitcoin. If I do a video on Bitcoin, I'd never buy Bitcoin, only go buy gold. And it's like, why not both?
Here's a question for you. I'm an investor in a project. Would you buy a trading card, a sports trading card that had a fraction of an ounce of gold embedded in it?
Would I personally? Probably not, only because I don't understand the trading card space. And so I really try to.
Right now. It's insane.
That?
The trading card business has been insane for the last 3 years.
Are you talking about like sports, like baseball cards? Or are you talking about like game playing cards?
Oh, no. I'm talking about sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, even soccer. Like, soccer is going crazy right now.
Yeah, all the collectibles are through the roof, like unbelievable. I have a friend who bought, just lives up the street, and he bought 2 Mustangs about 10 years ago. One, I think he got for 30 grand. The other one was like for 50 grand. And the one's worth $1 million today. The other one's worth $2 million. And just like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was out in Colorado, and they have this old car museum. And like, there's like this really old pickup truck from like the 20s or whatever. And they showed how much it was worth by year. And it was like $1 million, $3 million, $12 million. And today it's worth $19 million. So the whole collectible space is blown up. And that's of course, we're in the everything bubble. The Fed is printing trillions and trillions of dollars, and it's pushing asset prices just astronomical. So anywhere people can put money, they're trying to do that.
What do you think about some of the Fed decisions over the last 5-6 months?
What do I think about them?
Yeah. What do you think about?
Well, I think, the Fed is in a tough situation, right? So the problem is that they have their back against the wall. So they've created this debt-fueled economy. So we got off the gold standard in 1971, and we have a debt-fueled economy. And if it doesn't keep growing, it crashes. It's like a balloon that has a big leak in it. And the more they blow it up, the faster it's leaking. And if they stop blowing it up even for a second, it's just, and so that's the problem. And so they're kind of they're past the point of no return, meaning they can't just wake up tomorrow and decide, you know what, shoot, we should probably live according to our means. We should probably live with the money that we have. That's not going to happen. They can't. They have all these senior citizens at Social Security and Medicare benefits and all these things, so they can't do it. So their only goal is, or their only opportunity is to continue to print more money. The problem is that things have diminishing returns. So they work, and then they start working less and less and less and less, and eventually they don't work at all. And so now we're spending $1 trillion to get a few $1 billion worth of growth. And eventually we're going to spend trillions to get no growth. And eventually we're going to spend trillions to get negative growth. And so unfortunately, what they're doing doesn't work. It hasn't been working. It's not going to work. And eventually it ends very badly, which Peter Schiff is right. It's just when is the question.
Hopefully not in my lifetime, but yeah.
Well, most likely in your lifetime. Yeah. I mean, again, I hate to put timetables on things because it's just, we don't know how many more tricks up their sleeve they think they can come up with, but I can't imagine it goes for more than another couple of years at best.
I think you're right. I think one of the things that's going to disrupt that is it sounds crazy, but I think this whole blaming of China for coronavirus, China's been a big buyer of US debt for years. Like, they hold ridiculous amounts of our debt. And I think with somebody like Trump in the White House, I think we might actually see a nation between two nations try to negotiate discounts on the debt in order to repay for the coronavirus damage done.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean, let's just say China says, hey, you're forgiven. We're zero down your debt. Okay, great. Well, we're still spending twice the amount of money that we bring in every month. So
yeah, I mean, that eventually stops. I mean, we can't keep producing these stimulus bills.
Well, it doesn't eventually stop. As a matter of fact, it gets more and more. So right now, as I already hinted, right, we have the problem with the Social Security, we have the problem with Medicare, all the pensions, and we have hundreds of trillions of dollars of unfunded liability. That's basically money that's owed that has to be paid, or people are going to go broke as they're old. So we can't stop spending above our means. And then it gets better than that. So, per the really, regardless of Biden or Trump, whoever wins, we're going to have way more money printing than we could ever imagine. But particularly if Biden wins, on his economic team, he has AOC and Bernie Sanders, and they're pushing what they call the Green New Deal. And the Green New Deal wants to spend between 30 on the low end to $90 trillion on the high end to rebuild the country green energy. So where do they get 30 to 90 trillion dollars? Where does that come from? You print it. Yeah, exactly. So even if China zeroed our debt out, so even if China zeroed our debt out, I don't know if that's not going to make a difference.
Yeah,
and the problem is, this is where most people don't understand. Okay, and this is, people don't really understand what money is, and they don't understand what money is because, one, they've been misled or lied to.
It's an IOU.
It's an IOU, but you forget what it's actually supposed to be. And so Henry Ford famously said back in 100 years ago, he said, if the people knew how the banking system worked, there'd be a revolution overnight. And so they've hid this whole banking system from us for 100 years because they don't want that revolution to happen. And so people don't really understand that an economy is something that actually makes things and does things and produces goods and services and value. Money, money doesn't equal wealth. Printing money doesn't equal wealth. Money measures wealth. Money measures how much wealth we can buy. And so what's happening, and this is just continuing to grow, every year we get more regulations and more laws, a new EPA this, a new green this, and it just gets harder and harder and harder for businesses to operate. And so it's like these businesses are running in quicksand, and the level of productivity or profitability is going down, not up. And so when you talk about eventually growing our way out of this, unless something drastic changes, it's just going to be very difficult. And I don't want to be doom and gloom, but unfortunately, that's kind of what we're living in.
Maybe we can buy and sell Greenland.
That was an idea that was floated. Yeah.
I don't know why everyone thought that was a crazy idea. I mean, Greenland in some ways could be purchased. There was a whole economic study done about that. It wasn't that crazy.
Yeah, I remember seeing the headlines about it. I didn't really dig into what that story was about, so I'm not even sure what the whole thought process was on that.
Yeah, I think the way we see things economically these days, there's one group of people that are oblivious to it and say, this stuff doesn't affect me. And then there's another group of people that say, well, I better plan for the future because the future could be pretty scary.
Yeah. Well, my quote on that is that you can choose to ignore reality. You cannot ignore the effects of reality. And so, yeah, you can choose to ignore what's happening with the financial system. You can choose to ignore what's happening in the political system. People don't want to hear about what's going on with politics and behind the scenes right now. Don't even tell me about that, whatever. And yeah, you can ignore it. That's fine. But you're not going to ignore what happens because of it. And so, we call it like being red pilled, right? And you got the red mic, so like being red pilled. And it looks like a red pill. It looks like a red pill. Sometimes I wish I didn't know what I knew. I wish I could unsee what I've seen, but I can't. And so I'm trying to manage the best that I can for it.
All right, so let's talk a little politics. We're now this week going to see 44 days of nonstop insanity, like even to the point where people may just use their bodies to keep senators from getting to the Senate so they can vote for a Supreme Court justice.
What really surprises me more than the thing that surprises me the most is the level of contradiction coming from the left side of the aisle, the contradiction and the complete obliviousness of the people to spot this contradiction. So, this issue that you brought up specifically on a president trying to put a new Supreme Court justice in near the end of their term has come up many times, I think 23 times or something like that. The last time it came up was under Obama's presidency in 2016 or whatever. And there's countless videos of Obama himself and other political leaders on his side saying, no, he has the right to name the Supreme Court justice. Of course, the people on the right said, no, he shouldn't. He should wait. But Obama and all the other people said, no, he has the power to do this. Even the Supreme Court justice who died, RBG, she even said that the president is supposed to name it. So we have the Constitution. We have everything that they said that you're supposed to do. But now, as you said, they're saying they're going to burn the country down if he does this. They went to Mitch McConnell's house. They went to
oh my God.
I mean, they're literally threatening their life. The senators are saying, as you just said, they're going to fly across the country to stop the Constitution. They're pushing this full media court press on a dying woman's wishes. So a dying woman wishes override the Constitution.
You know what's interesting about that whole dying wish? For a month, she was on hospice.
Probably longer. She's been dead this whole year.
No, she actually went and did like a checkup at the hospital a month ago, and she literally went on hospice after that meeting. Like the doctor said, listen, these are your last days. We're going to set you up with a hospice at your house, blah, blah, blah. She could have literally, and I think Trump probably knew about this because he started floating all his, Supreme Court justice ideas about 2 weeks ago. And I think he knew about it. I mean, he had to have known. And I think he gave her the courtesy and respect to just die on her own. Because everyone, or at least not everyone, but at least he and his internal staff probably knew she was on hospice. And she could have literally said, hey, I'm dying. And she would have been dying for like the whole year. I'm dying. I'm going to step down. I'm not going to make it to the election. Sorry. I know, Hillary, you're banking on me making it to the finish line. I'm just not going to do it. And that would have solved a lot of this drama. But I actually think in many ways,
make it, they would have kept her on life support if they could have, probably.
I think it would have been like Weekend at Bernie's. She's alive. She's good. I think in many ways, Joe Biden is like Weekend at Bernie's sometimes. He's like, hey, could you keep giving me my notes? I can't hear what's coming in through the earpiece.
Yeah. I think they've been keeping her alive. And so anyway, it's unfortunate. And I don't want to talk anything bad about a dead person, obviously, but she's been Weekend at Bernie's for a long time. She could have easily stepped down under Obama's presidency and allowed him to reelect somebody. Huh? I get the whole picture, but at the end of the day, it's like, stop the contradiction, right? Like you argued, even Obama argued why they should have to do it. This is what the Constitution allows. The president doesn't lose powers because there's an election coming up, and it is what it is, and deal with it, right? But it continues to build on the level of hypocrisy. And really, that book 1984, I mean, it's just an unreal how true that book is becoming. Because
you think that's true, how unreal. Have you watched the movie V for Vendetta?
Sure. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like a virus, the whole movie outline. It's like, this is 2020. It was the practice run up for 2020.
Yeah, it definitely was. But I think in 84 is even more insightful in a way because he talked about things like doublespeak, for example. So doublespeak was the ability to hold two contradicting thoughts in your mind at the same time, which is known as like cognitive dissonance. So people go crazy from that. So what I mean by that, doublespeak, and we see it all over the place today. So the left is saying that we have to fight racism, but they're being racist.
Yeah.
It's doublespeak.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Like I see that all the time in the NBA courts. They're like, end racism. And I think to myself, is there really a way to end something that is based on an emotion like hate? Because racism is basically hate. You think about it, it's just hate. One person hates another person because of their skin.
People are mean. People are mean.
Exactly.
Hey, you're ugly. Hey, you're stupid. Hey, you're dumb. Hey, you're black. Hey, whatever, right? Like
hey, you're chubby, whatever. Hey, you're Karen.
Yeah, people are mean. But it's that doublespeak. So right now, we're talking out against racism, but we're being racist. We're talking out against fascism, but we're being fascist. Right? We're talking out. Now the lefts are saying that the right is just trying to grab power and they're trying to do whatever they can. But wait, they're not the ones threatening to burn the country down. They're not the one threatening to kill politicians. They're not the ones threatening to lay on the floor to block. Like it's doublespeak. And so it comes right out of that book. And that's what I said. I just can't believe how the public doesn't see how obvious this contradiction is.
Yeah. What do you think about some of the stuff that's happening in cities like Portland, New York, Chicago, Seattle, where people in their own neighborhoods and homes are having these, and I don't even call them protesters anymore. I just call them agitators, just, armed, very well funded agitators. Imagine people coming to your house at 1 a.m, climbing on the roof, screaming, shooting lights into your house. What happened to America?
This is we can talk about this conversation on a couple different levels, but if we want to take it all the way down to the very bottom level, it's not a pretty thing to talk about. So first of all, just a kind of a base level, how do I feel about that? So first of all, I'm for I don't claim to be a Republican or a Democrat. I am for less government and more freedom, whatever that means. I don't even want to say I'm libertarian, but I'm just for less government and more freedom. But the only role that government is really supposed to play now, they want to be the nanny, but they're only supposed to really protect the citizens. That's the role of government. And so at the base role is for them to protect the citizens. And so in those cities, the citizens are being terrorized.
Unbelievable.
The only role of the government is to protect them. And they are not only failing to protect them, but they are actually instigating the damage that's being done to them. So I just feel bad for the citizens that don't want that. And they're stuck in those downtown areas and they don't have money. They can't leave. And they're just stuck being terrorized. And what a failure that is. I get it. Everyone has different political views and beliefs. And I get that. But we all care or should care about human life, and we should care about humans. And humans, they need to be safe and protected. And when you're not doing that, your base job, you've just failed at everything. And so, for the governor of Portland to allow that to happen, for the mayor of Portland to let that happen, the mayor of Portland to let that happen. And then when the feds come in to try and do something, they try to file lawsuits against the feds. And, a little bit of vindication, a little bit too late, but, they finally went to his house. And when they went to his house, then, okay, enough is enough. All right, now time to shut it down.
Here's the funny thing. They went to his condo and he moved out of his condo because got 3 houses. He's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. And so, and that's just a shame. And we've really seen, and we've seen it for a long time, but we're really escalating this servants and leaders kind of a thing, right? Do as I say, not as I do, where we have Lori Lightfoot from Chicago who went and got her hair done and they found out and she's like, well, I really care about my hygiene. I need to look good. That's what she said on TV. And it's like,
shout out to Nancy Pelosi's hair salon.
Yeah, well, and that too, we have Lori Lightfoot with the hair salon, and then Lori Lightfoot, she's defunding the police in Chicago, but yet she hired private security for herself.
Oh, here, I'll even tell you one more on that. A buddy of mine works for the Chicago Police Department. I won't mention his name, but here's the funny thing. She fired his squad. She got rid of his squad, defunded it, and then asked him and his detail to come and guard her neighborhood on the weekend before the Monday, which was their last Monday.
Yeah. It's unbelievable, the level of hypocrisy. And I just, it just makes me crazy that people don't see this. But really what's happening is it's even more scary than that, because there was a report that has recently come out, and I've been watching it for a while. So basically the United States has been overthrowing governments forever, right? And really all governments have been throwing over governments. But the United States, the CIA has been involved in this big time. Years ago.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. People always act like we're not doing these things. Everyone's like, oh, Russia's involved in our election. Are you guys crazy? We've been involved in every election in the world. Zimbabwe, Venezuela. We've got our hooks into all these countries.
Yeah. And where things really got interesting was, down in Costa Rica, they have this airplane out over the cliff, and it's like a restaurant bar, and it's an actual airplane that was used in the Iran-Contra deal, where the CIA was literally buying cocaine from the Nicaraguans, running it to LA, selling the cocaine, taking the money, going back and buying weapons and flying them over to Iran. And
wasn't that a movie with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, there was a movie with Tom Cruise about that. But that was a real deal, Oliver North and the whole deal. Anyway, but things changed. So under Obama, under Obama, he wanted to attack Syria because supposedly there was chemical weapons used on his own people. And the American people are like, heck no, we don't want any more wars. So what he did is he created this, what's now known as a color revolution. And so they used this color revolution to basically destabilize a country. And that's what created the Arab Spring. That's what created, ISIS and the whole war in Syria and whatnot. Well, what's interesting is I forget the guy's name. I want to say David Eisen, but he worked under the Obama campaign and he wrote the playbook for the color revolution. It's literally called the playbook. And in the playbook, it breaks down a way to run a color revolution to basically overthrow a government. And this guy, he was under the Obama administration. He was a czar of, I want to say, ethics czar, one of the czars that Obama appointed. So anyway, he wrote this thing called the playbook, and it's a playbook on how to run these color revolutions. And basically what a color revolution is, let me explain this to you and see if this makes any sense. Maybe you might have recognized this before. The first thing that you do is you start casting doubts into the legitimacy of the president or the dictator. Then you start casting doubts into the legitimacy of the election process. At the same time, you create a groundswell of uprising and opposition. So you, from the top down, you destabilize the election process to take all trust away from it. At the same time, you create an opposition force that comes up to cause panic and stuff. Does that sound familiar? Well, it should, because this guy, David Eisen, who worked, I hate to say his name, I think that's what it is, but he worked on the Obama administration. Well, he was responsible or behind every one of Trump's impeachments. He was the architect of every impeachment against Trump. I think he's responsible for like 180 lawsuits against Trump. Don't quote me on those exact figures, but it's about that. So this guy who wrote the playbook was behind every single impeachment and responsible for like 180 lawsuits. And does that sound like anything we might be seeing in the United States? Let's see. The election might not be legitimate. The problem with the Postal Service. Trump's using Russia to meddle with the election. Right?
Are you thinking about David Brock?
No, it's not David Brock.
The U.S. is in a color revolution straight out of the color revolution playbook. Are you thinking about Norm Eisen?
Norm Eisen. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Here I'll.
Norm Eisen. I got the Eisen right. So it was David that had wrong. Norm Eisen. So
you're 50% right. Here you go. Here's your guy.
Yep. There's the guy. That's his picture.
U.S. color revolution, straight out of the color revolution playbook.
Yeah. And what's interesting is
here's your 180 lawsuits, by the way.
Yeah. So I was pretty close. 10 articles of impeachment, special counsel to the Democrats for the impeachment process.
Getting all his paychecks from this guy.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, we can go on and on about this, but what's interesting is, this whole coronavirus hysteria and lockdown around the world. One country really has stood against the whole thing.
Stop. Let me guess. Sweden.
No.
Oh.
Belarus.
Wow.
Belarus is a dictatorship, and so it's not the picture perfect country to go to, but the dictator said no, I don't believe in that. I'm not locking my country down. They've still held all their sporting events. Business as usual, no lockdown, and guess what? No mass bodies are piled up. Now people say, oh, that's because they're a communist or he's a dictator and he's hiding it, but everyone's like, well, we have satellite imagery. Where's the bodies? Where's the incinerators? We have nothing, right? And there's been no deaths. Well, the dictator of the country has gone out and said that they've been bribing him. They've been bribing him to lock his country down, bribing him to buy into the corona hysteria. And he's refused to do that. And guess what's happening in Belarus right now? A color revolution. Now he's not a legitimate leader. Now he took power illegitimately. Now they need to recount the thing. Now there's 500,000 people in the streets rioting. And the color revolution is happening in Belarus, just like it's happening here.
Are you familiar with Alex Berenson?
I'm not.
You gotta read his stuff and follow up with him. He is spot on with everything that you're saying. He has dissected all the statistical information around the scamdemic, and he's a world-class writer. He wrote a book about this whole thing.
Yeah. So So anyway, this is a long way around. I mean, you had asked me originally, what do I think about the riots, Antifa and whatnot happening in Portland and all that. And, unfortunately, I would love to believe that it was just kind of some people that weren't happy and they want to start breaking windows. But the reality is it's not. It's been, the BLM was founded under Obama's watch, and they've been underground building this network out for quite a while. And, we've all seen the pictures of the bricks and the pallets and the weapons they put together, the $1 million buses they drive around to go from city to city. I have seen for myself, I heard about it, but I've seen for myself the ads on Craigslist offering to pay people $18 an hour to go, riot.
You think that's crazy? The Chinese, I don't know if it was embassy in Houston, when the FBI were about to raid them, they were responsible for $30 million worth of payments using Cash App to rioters and looters in the New York City New York City rioting.
Wow.
And that story, for whatever reason, has been hushed ever since they burned everything and adios amigos out of that embassy. Yeah. But if you think about it, it's funny. People, if you don't connect the dots real easily, like, it's crazy how like all roads lead back to China. Wuhan virus was, released from there. If you look at some of the tweets that Joe Biden said in October, we better watch out for a virus. We better be prepared. It's been so orchestrated, but all roads lead back to China. China benefited. They sold a ton of gloves, a ton of masks, a ton of everything. I mean, all roads lead back to China. It's almost as if you were going to say to yourself, we've got to go to war and get this guy Trump out of office because these trade deals are killing us. And all the money, everything else just leads right back to China.
For sure. I think I definitely a lot of roads lead back to it. I think there's a few different things going on. I think what's happening in the world, with Davos and the World Economic Forum and this great reset they're planning with Prince Charles and Al Gore and that whole thing is probably a parallel track to what's happening in China. I think so. I think there's, I would say probably you have George Soros and Bill Gates. Well, Bill Gates is probably straddling between the two, but I think George Soros and the World Economic Forum are probably over here on one side, and then China's obviously doing their thing. I think there's a few big actors that are all kind of doing their own thing, but all kind of headed in the same direction almost. Maybe there's a couple different competing interests. I don't really know. I try not to, I hate the word conspiracy theory. The term conspiracy is two people conspiring to do something against somebody else. The whole world conspires. Me and my wife conspire against our kids all the time. Right? I mean, the whole world conspires. I mean, how can you say conspiracies aren't real?
They are. And somebody told me a conspiracy theory is real when enough facts are given.
Yeah. So everyone conspiring, but I know that term was coined by the CIA to kind of shut people down. So I don't really want to buy into that. So I try to just look at the facts and the dots that we can see.
By the way, shout out Mel Gibson. Great movie. Loved your role as a taxi driver.
Okay. I didn't see that.
Oh, look it up. The conspiracy theory, Mel Gibson. Who was the girl in Pretty Woman?
Okay.
Julia something.
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. They both crushed it.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of dots and it's scary. I try not to let it consume me too bad. And that goes back all the way back to where we started the conversation, which is my YouTube channel, which is what I tell people in the beginning, that your only hope and security is to figure this out on your own, because money gives us options. Money gives us options. And so I try to balance my fear and angst by looking at like communist China, which living under that communist regime seems like it would be the worst thing in the world. They got 1 million Uyghurs in concentration camps doing organ harvesting and social credits. I mean, how bad is that society? But there's still rich people there. They still send their kids to college in the US.
Did you see the news today? They put a billionaire in jail for 18 years for a social media post criticizing the government.
Wow. I didn't see that.
When I saw that, I was like, did that guy not have enough money to get the right lawyer? What the hell?
So I just think as bad as things get, as an investor, I've always believed that money goes where it's treated best. And I also believe that in today's age, people should go where they're treated best. And so, as long as I have an internet, uh-oh, did I disappear?
Yeah, I think your internet connection, I think the communist China just cut you off.
Hang on one second. Let me see. Let me check something.
Tell me this isn't a conspiracy theory. Are you in LA? Maybe LA tells you to cut off your internet usage after 4 o'clock.
No, my internet's good. That should be better.
I think you might have just kicked out your video
It was
camera.
my camera.
I think you rolled your chair over.
No, hang on. I'm gonna have to switch my camera. Hang on.
No worries, man. So while he's doing that, we're gonna play a little bit more music.
There we go.
Oh, then we're not gonna play any more music.
I have to switch to my webcam. I had my nice camera. I guess the battery died and my charger won't charge it while it's, I don't know, going.
Made in China.
So anyway, so what I was saying is that I believe that money goes where it's treated best. And I also believe that people should go where it's treated best. And so the internet has allowed us to basically live and work wherever we want. And so, we should look for ways to make money online, and we should be able to move to jurisdictions that are more friendly. And my hope is that countries will start to compete for people. And hey, come here. And if you come here, we're going to give you tax breaks. We're going to treat you fairly. We're going to give you this treatment or whatever. And that's what I hope. I think we're already starting to see.
I was going to say, I think we're starting to see that. You see people like Joe Rogan leave California, go to Texas. You're starting to see a big mass exodus out of California. I can't tell you how many friends of mine have left California.
Yeah, I'm in California, and I love it here, and I want to die here, but they're making it very difficult, and I probably won't stick around much longer.
What part of California?
I'm in Southern California.
That's not bad.
No, I mean, it's great, but they're just so crazy here, especially with the taxes. They just voted to increase the state taxes to 16.8%, which
is that income tax or?
Yeah.
So you got to pay them that in income tax. Then you got to pay the federal government. Then you got to pay real estate taxes. You're down to like probably keeping 30 cents on the dollar.
So 16.8% is what I have to pay to be in California. So, on a $1 million income, 160 grand just to live in California, versus if I move next door to Arizona or Nevada, I'd pay zero.
Come to Nevada. Probably get 10 times the house for the money.
Yeah, or Texas or Oregon or Florida or all these different states. So
move next door to Joe Rogan. He just built.
So definitely we're seeing that happen within state to state for sure. And I think we'll start to see that country to country. So we've already seen, like, for example, I just saw Barbados said they're going to give away a 1-year visa to anybody who wants to come there and work. Puerto Rico has a tax treaty where if you go there and start a business, you can pay a combined federal and state of only 4%.
I saw that. A couple of my friends moved to Puerto Rico in 2017, 18 because of crypto gains. Yep. And the only thing bad about Puerto Rico, and the tax deal is pretty good, is it's not like wherever you live or where I live. There's no Home Depot down the street. There's not a really good grocery store at every corner. Their supply chain.
Downtown in San Juan, they do. They got Costco, they got Walmart, they got all that there. As you get out of the main cities, they don't have that stuff as much. So yeah, it's obviously it's a little bit different. But I mean, if you live in downtown, I mean, you can live right there by just outside of the main San Juan area where all the Costco's and Walmarts and galleries are. And they have, I mean, you can live in a gated neighborhood with the Ritz-Carlton and a golf course and $1 million homes, So, but anyway, I'm just saying we're starting to see countries starting to compete for people. I think, we're starting to see a lot of that happen in the Bahamas, like Cayman Islands, St. Lucia, things like that, giving passports away, things like that. And so my hope is that we'll continue to see more of that.
I think so. I think that's, like I said, you're starting to see it definitely inside the United States. People are leaving New York City. The one thing that I think is like not on anybody's radar, commercial real estate.
On the radar in which way?
in like a very scary way. Like
Yeah.
people don't understand when that craters, which probably will start to see happen in mid 21, when that starts to crater, that's a huge tax base for cities.
Yeah.
I mean, those commercial buildings pay a lot of tax dollars to cities. And when the tenants go, everything goes.
Yeah, well, all the tax dollars are screwed, right? I mean, you shut the economy down, and the state's got no money, just all the business shut down. But yeah, you're definitely right with the commercial space, and then those commercial spaces are owned by REITs, real estate investment trusts, which a lot of retirement funds, 401ks, et cetera, are in those REITs. So when those go down, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a domino. I just don't see the longevity of that. When you define commercial office space, really like the business office space, like that's kind of gone. Probably like the malls and stuff are probably gone. I think the outdoor shopping center commercial space probably still do pretty good, maybe even better. But for sure, office space, I mean, come on.
What are your theories on dog balls? What's the market look like for dog balls?
Probably very good. Probably good to very good, right? It's crazy. I don't know the dog ball space that well, but if you look at all the recreational stuff, bikes and mountain bikes and things like that, you can't buy that stuff today.
Want to hear something crazy? My neighbor down the street, when things shut down, just for shits and giggles, got into buying mountain bikes and selling them to people. And he literally bought up all the mountain bikes he could find at pawn shops and so on and so forth. And literally people would drive to his house. I'm not kidding you, like 30, 40 people a day looking for bikes because nobody could find mountain bikes. And he had like stacks of them stored in his big garage. All right. It wouldn't be a cameo appearance if Jesse didn't say hi.
Oh.
And he's gone.
Good boy.
You got a dog?
I do. I have a Frenchton. She is a half French bulldog and half Boston Terrier.
So a bulldog that's got long legs?
No, a Boston Terrier looks very similar to a French bulldog. They're not quite as big and boxy, but they're both about the same size. Both smush nose dogs. So she's a little bit stockier than like a normal Boston Terrier.
How old is she?
7.
Dogs are good. Dogs are better than people.
I love dogs. Yeah. I don't know if I'd say they're better than people, but that unconditional love is pretty good.
I don't know. I've met some people in Vegas. I'll take my dog over 78% of them.
Well, for sure, there's a lot of bad people. I'm not going to discount that, but I've been married. I just celebrated my 18th anniversary with my wife, and we got two kids, and so I love my family. I love my wife. I love my kids, and they're better than any dog.
That is true. So what do you think about DeFi, decentralized finance, and how it's gone crazy within the crypto space? My personal opinion is it's here to stay, but it's kind of crazy.
My opinion on DeFi. So first off, I love the fact of everything going decentralized and kind of breaking apart that control, which is why I love Bitcoin so much. On a surface level, the idea behind DeFi is really good in a sense where like you have this controlled financial space and decentralizing it so it's more equal for people to participate in things like that. Obviously removes a lot of fees and things like that. It sounds good. It's obviously, done really well for speculators and gamblers as they've been able to get in and out. It's also probably lost people a lot of money because it's.
I was going to say those gamblers got a little bit of a crushing blow this week. Actually, last week.
I don't know if the dream will ever become reality. And what I mean by that is I think financial products overall require some sort of centralization.
Administration. Yeah. I agree with that to a degree, and I'm going to tell you why. The interesting thing about DeFi and DeFi contracts and platforms like Uniswap and SushiSwap, especially Uniswap, which really has done a great job of creating a decentralized exchange. I mean, have you played with Uniswap at all?
Yeah, but that can be decentralized. That's not really that's an exchange. So people are coming to buy and sell. It's like a matchmaker. It's like a decentralized matchmaker. But when it comes to DeFi, as far as like lending protocols, that's where it seems like there's some like centralization there to happen.
Maybe. I mean, I don't disagree. I definitely think it's such an early stage that it's got lots of kinks to work out. I mean, but I think it's definitely here to stay. One of the interesting projects that's out there right now is decentralizing and disrupting the lottery system and making lottery a global decentralized platform. It's called Espresso. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
Yeah, there's been a couple of them. There's been a couple of them that have come out. I think the states are going to love that.
I haven't seen, which one are you talking about? I haven't seen one.
There's been I mean, over the last couple of years, I've seen a couple different ones pop up that were, some sort of lottery type deals. I don't remember all the names. I participated in one of them one time as a gimmick, but I don't remember what the name was. But I guess it depends on when you talk about DeFi, decentralized finance, like what type of finance really are we talking about? So are we talking about
exchanges?
Loans? Huh?
Exchanges?
Well, I don't know if I would consider exchanges DeFi. That's just like a decentralized exchange. I mean, I guess when I think about finance, I think more about like Wall Street. So, I mean, I guess sure, like a brokerage.
Yeah,
like
oh my God. I think about Wall Street, NASDAQ.
Well, yeah, but I was thinking, I think about loans, lending and taking. I think about like REITs, like I just talked about. I think about, more complex things like futures, bet things like that.
You could DeFi REIT. I see that as being like an interesting future development.
Yeah, and so like I said, I love the idea, and I would love to see it come into play because I believe that centralization leads to manipulation. And so I love the idea of decentralizing that and letting algos kind of run that, like if you can't control the algo, I should say. So I love the idea of it and I hope it works out. And it's definitely early and it's definitely a fun place to play if you like the risk and you like to gamble.
So what are 3 tips you would tell somebody that's doing a YouTube channel and things that you've learned along the way that have made you successful?
So the first tip is going to be, well, so I would say, okay, shoot, the 3 tips. So I would say probably the first tip is you need to have the right perspective because a long-term perspective and in Bitcoin and crypto and in your diet, your health, everything needs to have long-term perspective. And so when you start a YouTube channel, it starts very slow. It's very frustrating and nobody's tuning in and it goes so slow. So you need to start with that right perspective. And I guess I'll combine this all into one tip. You need to have the long-term perspective because it's going to take a long time. So you need to make sure that you're talking about a subject that you're passionate about and that you're going to want to talk about for free over a long period of time. And that probably ultimately has some sort of a reason why behind it. Maybe that's like some sort of a monetization or some sort of an issue, a political issue you want to raise or something like that, because that's what's going to keep you engaged over a long period of time. So that would be tip number 1, if I can combine all that together. Tip number 2 would be really to think about delivering value every time you put out content. So I've had people that have been like, hey, do you want to come on my channel? And I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. We're just going to talk. And how about I'll come on your channel next? I'm like, what are we going to talk about on my channel? Oh, we'll just talk. I'm like, I don't go onto my channel just to talk.
You're not reading my email that I sent you, are you?
No, but like, so my point is like every time I make a video, I have a point. Like, what is the big idea I'm trying to get across? What can somebody take from this that's actionable, that can change their life or their perspective? And I always try to have that so that I don't ever want anyone to watch my video and go, that was a waste of time. And I'm sure it happens, but my intention is to make sure that doesn't happen. So to put that value, to always give value. That's tip number 2. And then I would say tip number 3 would be consistency. And so you need to do as many videos as you can consistently. So if that's only 1 a month, then just commit to 1 a month. I would say at least 1 a week, and it should always be the same day and the same time. So every Tuesday at noon, every Thursday at 3, whatever it is. And if you can do 2 or 3, better, but only if you can consistently do that. You don't want to be hit and miss. And I think if you can do 2 to 3 videos a week consistently, and you'll stick with it over a good period of time, you're going to have success.
So one of the things that COVID has shown us in the last 5 months is digital commerce is exploding. I mean, it is amazing how many things people are doing online when it comes to digital commerce, buying everything from Amazon, having your groceries delivered, having everything, you're literally using the computer for everything, schoolwork, downloading how-to digital classes, how to do your nails, how to flip iPhones, how to buy and sell stuff on eBay, so on and so forth. What have you learned during this lockdown or during this crisis about digital commerce that you've applied to your life?
Well, I don't know if I've really learned anything. I'm always learning, so I shouldn't say that. But as I kind of told you, I mean, I started my first e-commerce business in 2001. So I've been fully bought into this for a really long time. But what I did do is, having lived through a couple of recessions now that I'm old, I saw this pandemic as an opportunity. So while most people were probably panicking and pulling back and deciding to sit on the couch and collect their $600 check or whatever the case may be, advertisers all over the world were pulling back their ad spend. I said, you know what? I'm going to triple down. And so I kicked up my videos from 1 time a week to 3 times a week. I started putting out tons of content all across social media. And since then, my views, my engagement have just absolutely skyrocketed. And to give you an idea in numbers, to quantify that a little bit, about 60 days ago, I hit the 100,000 subscriber mark. And today I'm at 165,000.
So people are loving your shit.
Well, it's the extra response that I've been doing. Again, like I said, going from 1 video to 3 videos a week, the tripling down. My content is all over social media, and so just all that extra work, all that extra effort has really paid off. And so it took me 19 months to get 100,000, and it took me less than 2 months to get 65,000.
Where do you think you'll be in a year?
That's a really good question.
Will you take the Spotify offer that they offered Joe Rogan?
Yes, sign me up. That's a really good question. To be honest, I just hired somebody. Actually, I interviewed him and I agreed to hire him. We haven't filled out the paperwork yet, but I just hired someone to come on and really help me run a lot of this stuff, because I don't have the time to dig into the analytics and to make everything better. And at the end, I asked him, okay, what's our goal? And he's like, so the same question you asked me, I asked him, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, before we start, I want to know that number, right? I need to know the goal. So I just asked him the same question. Where do I think I'll be in 12 months from now? I mean, at the rate I'm going, I would say conservatively, I should be at 500,000. I hope, if not more.
I'll be honest. I thought after this video, you'd probably be close to 500,000.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm talking about some pretty relevant topics right now because we're going through the pandemic.
If you did more puppy cameos, you'd get that whole puppy audience too.
I need more puppy audience for sure. I need more puppy. Everybody loves puppies.
You don't think I give him a treat and get him to do a cameo every video for nothing, right? He's got a whole following in my tribe.
Yeah. Maybe I should try and bring my dog on. Maybe I'll get some extra followers that way.
I'm telling you, little chicken jerky. She'll like come up on your lap. She'll be like, yo, Dad, what do you need me to do?
Yeah. So, and I would say also just kind of being yourself too, like I've watched a lot of other YouTubers and sometimes I think like, oh, I should stand up and do whiteboard videos like this guy, or I should be more energetic like this guy, or maybe I need to do some kind of gimmicks like this guy. And I just kind of sit at this desk right here. And sometimes I feel like I'm kind of boring. And I should probably be more energetic like these other guys. But then I get lots of comments that are like, oh, I just love your cool, calm delivery. So I think at the end of the day, everybody's different. And that's what creates that blue ocean for us. You and I aren't competing against for the same market. We're different people. And those other people with their whiteboard videos or their crazy antics, I'm not competing with them because we're just, we're different. And so just be true to yourself that way.
I think that's like the best advice you can give somebody is no matter what you do, when this thing goes on and when you're in front of the camera and you're talking to somebody, be authentic, be who you are. Because trust me, people will love you for who you are and they will hate you for who you are. But if you try to be somebody that appeals to everybody, there will still be people that love you and there will still be people that hate you. So be authentic. That's one of the best things. I mean, I've had so many people, oh my God, you talk about politics. Yeah, it's part of the life. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you
You
talk
know,
about
and
God. Oh my God.
yeah, and that's absolutely right. And, you know, really to be a, what, you know, in the marketing space, we call an attractive character. Russell Brunson coined the term like attractive character. Like really you need to be polarizing. So the more polarizing you are, the more you push people away, but draw people in like a magnet, the more people will love you and the more people will hate you. And I'm just not, that's just not me. I'm not a very polarizing person. And so I do try to kind of make everybody happy. It doesn't work, obviously. People talk crap no matter what. but I have really gotten thicker skin through this process because I get, you know, 1,000 or 2,000 comments a video. I mean, I'm seeing, you know, 5,000-6,000 comments a week. So I see a lot of crap. And it's given me some thick skin. And I've gotten to the point now where, and really it was about a month ago. This is an interesting point.
By the way, if you see some comments and they start talking about your lack of hair, don't let it bother you.
I get comments about my hair. I get comments about my tan. I get comments. I mean, I hear it.
You should see some of the comments I get about the egg that I've got.
But what was interesting is about a month ago, maybe a month or two ago, I found myself like sitting down to like come up with my next video idea and just like having a blank, like writer's block. Like, what am I going to talk about? And I was like, man, it was taking me forever to come up with ideas and it was started getting really hard to make videos. And then one night it hit me and I was just like, you know what? It's because every video I'm trying to make it to get more views than the last video. I'm just making videos to get views. I'm not talking about the stuff I really care about. So I took some time and I wrote down like my core values and I wrote down the things that I really believe are true in life. And I decided that I'm going to be talking about those topics in every video. And since then, I've made a couple videos that are kind of outside of what I typically talk about. So I made one video that I was about income inequality and how really it's all about the money. And it didn't get received real well. It got way less views than I would typically get. And then I made another video about why we're having blackouts in California, like a third world country. And I talked about green energy and the energy.
Did you mention the fact that you guys didn't vote on having 2 nuclear power plants that could have solved that problem?
Well, no, we shut them down. We shut two nuclear plants down. We're shutting the final one down. We shut down our coal and natural gas plants. And so this was done on purpose. So anyway, that, you know, getting into that side was way outside of what I normally do. And a lot of people didn't like that. I got a lot of people saying, stick to finance. Don't talk. You don't know anything about this. You need to, you know, whatever. So I did get a lot of comments like that, but that single video brought in like 5,000 new subscribers. So yeah, I guess a lot of people that have been subscribed to me, I'm unsubscribing, screw you, this and that. So I did get a lot of those people out, but then I brought in 5,000 new people. So I have started to get to the point where talking about what's really more important to me.
You know, I've watched Joe Rogan throughout the years go from almost the beginning to where he is today. And one of the things that I've learned from him is be authentic, but B, more importantly, talk about what interests you, that truly, like, you know, like when I saw you win your award, I'm like, man, I want to hear his story because that's an achievement. Where's the award, by the way? Where's the big sucker? I mean, show the world what hard work and determination gets you. Look at that bad boy. What is it? Was it like metal?
It's like like a kind of like a stainless metal, and then this is like a mirror in there. Yeah.
What happens when you hit the play button? Anything?
No, nothing happens on the play button. I think I don't get the next one till 500,000 maybe or something. So I got a ways to go.
I think they gave me 200,000. I think you'll get one for 2.
They gave me like a cool letter, like a cool congratulation letter.
Dear
and they gave me they gave me a way where I can like order some like additional type of awards if I want. So yeah, I don't know. I was pretty stoked on it. I got this, and then I got this. Hang on. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This one is my other big proud achievement.
Whoa, what's that one?
This is the 2 Comma Club Award.
What is it?
ClickFunnels 2 Comma Club Award.
Oh, ClickFunnels. I thought it had something to do with YouTube.
No, you're not familiar with ClickFunnels 2 Comma Club Award?
I've seen that, but explain it for the people that don't know.
Well, if you're into internet marketing, if you're into making money online, then you probably have heard of a software called ClickFunnels. And basically, ClickFunnels is a way that you can build like landing pages and opt-in pages and things like that. So you can collect leads and email newsletters and sell your products, and et cetera. So ClickFunnels is like one of the best softwares, easiest softwares to use to do that. And they interesting story about them, but they had a hard time selling the software. So they started teaching marketing, and then they started teaching marketing for free. And then people would use the software, and they took off really big. And they basically have an award. So if you build a funnel, which is like a landing page, opt-in page to like whatever, and that funnel does $1 million or more, that's 2 commas. So then you get an award, a 2 Comma Club Award. And I think, I forget, they have like millions of members using ClickFunnels, and there's only been, I want to say like a few hundred people win the award. So anyway, I was pretty stoked on that one.
That's awesome. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So we've got an event in January where we're bringing in 20 world-class speakers that have done millions of dollars worth of sales in the digital commerce space. You know what I think would be fun?
What's that?
If you came out to Vegas, set up a desk with a microphone, and had a chance to tell or talk to some of these speakers.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, we did on that funnel right there. I not only did I get the $1 million, we broke the record. So I did it in 28 days, and that doesn't tell the whole story.
Wait a second, you did $1 million in 28 days?
Yeah, but that doesn't tell the whole story.
That's impressive.
That doesn't tell the whole story. The story is, as you know, right? You're talking about business, online marketers and whatnot. So you hear people that made $1 million, but yeah, you spent 900,000 in ads, right? How much did you make?
Yeah.
So we did that without $1 of paid ads, and we did it without 0 affiliates. Went on to do about, I think that year did about $6 million in that funnel.
Were you selling meth?
I think went on to do $6 million in that funnel with $0 of paid ads and 0 affiliates.
What was the product?
It was my cryptocurrency research newsletter and trading, and we added a trading service to it.
Dude, that is, what were you selling the newsletter for?
It was the trading service is what that was the new product that we brought on that got us there in 28 days. And it was like a $300 a month subscription.
Wow. And so it was the $300.
We brought in like what it was like 3,000 subscribers in a month.
Okay. So that's how you got to the million.
Yeah. 3,000 people times $300.
And that was 300 every month.
300 every month. Yeah.
Is it still running? Are you still doing that?
No, I told you the story. My partner got me to start the YouTube channel, and then he got me to start my own channel, and then I sold him my half of the business last year and went out on my own.
That's awesome. What's the name of that?
Signal Profits.
I don't know if I've heard of it, but that's an impressive story.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, I've been doing this online thing for a really long time.
Dude, buddy, that's super impressive. Super impressive.
Yeah. And I, and again, back to, kind of what I talk about on the channel. And this is what I encourage, right? We have to learn how to make money, grow our money, protect our money. And because the world's changed, right? And so the way that we make money, I put a tweet out the other day, maybe, I don't know, a week or two ago. And I just said that, the whole world's screaming out for equality right now, right? We don't have equality. We don't have equality. We don't have equality. And I said, if you have this, you have equality. All it takes is this. A 13-year-old kid in an Instagram account can make millions of dollars. If you have the internet, you have the ability to learn anything and do anything you want. I don't care what country you're in. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what sex you are. It doesn't matter. If you have the internet, you can learn anything you need to learn, and you can have access to do anything you want to do. I've generated tens and tens of millions of dollars, and it's all been 100% online, working from anywhere in the world.
One of the guys that's coming to speak at our event, 20 some odd year old kid, since May has done $200,000 in digital sales. Super impressive. Great example of what you just said. All he had early on was this. And the crazy thing is he was fixing these. That was his digital masterclass to show people how to learn how to do a business fixing iPhones.
You can literally go onto YouTube and watch videos on YouTube on how to run Facebook ads. And then I could go on to Twitter or Instagram and I could message Instagram people and say, hey, I'd love to run your Facebook ads for you for free. And then you make them, show them that you can earn them some money. And then you say, hey, but if I make you some money, would you pay me a percentage of it? So you're telling me you'll make me money for free. And if I make money, then I'll pay you some? Sure, I'll take that deal. Why wouldn't I, right? I could go on and I could learn about anything, right? I could learn about SEO. I could learn about blog writing. I could learn about copywriting. And I could message people on LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram and say, hey, can I write articles for you? And only if they bring in customers, you'll pay me. And people would say, yeah, like you can learn anything and you can access anybody and you can do anything you want just with this device right here. And people need to figure that out, man.
I think your messaging is on point. I think if you just get up every day, create a plan. You know, it's funny. People talk about their daily goals, but they sometimes forget it's your daily achievements that matter. It's the shit you actually get done.
Yeah. And that was actually when I think you said you saw this post when I commented on this thing. And in that post, I said, everybody wants it to be that one big thing they get right, but it's really the small things done on a daily consistent basis that make up. So everybody's looking for that big YouTube break. No, just post videos 3 times a week for 2 years. You know?
Oh, it's crazy. I think at the end of the day, you know, there's a saying in Alcohol Anonymous where you talk about day by day, inch by inch. And
Right.
it applies so well to business. Me and Justin Kahn, are you familiar with Justin Kahn? He sold Twitch to Amazon.
Sounds familiar.
We have a Telegram group, and it's a sobriety Telegram group. It's a lifestyle choice. And, you know, it's so interesting how many things you can apply to life and business from being sober. And that is just take everything inch by inch, day by day. You know, everybody wants to leap forward, get that big hit, that you know, whale of a deal. But in reality, it's the inches that all add up.
That's exactly right. And so, you know, people don't want to put that steady, consistent work in, but it's the only way, man. There's really no shortcuts in life. I mean, yeah, you can win the lottery, but I don't want to leave my retirement up to the lottery.
No. All right. So leave you with a couple of things: pizza or burrito?
Burrito for sure.
Shout out to not my sponsor, Chipotle. Doritos or Cheetos?
Neither. Doritos, I guess.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs for sure.
Gotta be. Listen, Mark, let's do this again one day. I love your attitude. I think what you shared with people is super solid. People can learn a lot by watching you. They can learn a lot by understanding what you're saying. And yeah, it's inch by inch, day by day.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on. It was a super fun conversation. I enjoyed it.
I appreciate it, man. Let's say goodbye to everybody.